First up for launch to low Earth orbit in the 9th episode of KASA RPL is Gemini 1. The early Gemini missions will be a test of our orbital rendezvous capability. Let's skip through the cloud layer, ascent, second stage separation, third stage separation, and fairing separation. At this point, we will extend the solar panels and communication antenna before payload deployment. Our payload is essentially a life support and monopropellant tank to assist Gemini 2 with a prolonged stay in low Earth orbit. Now that we have Gemini 1 in a circularized orbit, let's jump back to our magnetometer probe and get some more readings. It is telling us the magnetic field is much weaker at this altitude. There is also a spike in cosmic rays. So the SpaceCom satellite network is getting a bit out of date, and we need something for long-range communication. Using infernal robotics, we have created GEOCom. And we're just finishing the circularization burn at a geostationary altitude now. After deployment, we will be launching GEOCom 2. I'm reading yet another good book, and I came upon a particular page that I thought important enough to share. The name of the book is The Universe in the Rearview Mirror: How Hidden Symmetries Shape Reality by Dave Goldberg. Chapter 7, Replacement, in which we considered the design specifications for a teleportation device. I think it's time we had a serious talk. For a while now, too long maybe, I've let you live in a classical universe, one in which quantum mechanics intruded only long enough to mess things up a bit. But now it's time for a hard, cold reality. Quantum mechanics isn't just a minor detail, it dominates the universe. And symmetry at the quantum level is even stranger than at the classical one. At the quantum level, as we'll see, we won't even be able to distinguish between this particle and that particle. At the risk of sounding too new agey, it's all one. Particles are interchangeable, and sorry, so are you. All of the seemingly enormous differences in you, me, and everyone else are fundamentally attributable to such a small thing as the arrangement and number of protons, neutrons, and electrons in our respective bodies. We tend to think of our atoms and molecules as being ours in some fundamental way. To give you an idea of both how numerous our constituent particles are and how willing we are to share them, take a breath. A breath seems like a relatively small thing, but with each inhale or exhale, we move around something like 100 million quadrillion molecules. Consider the dying accusations of Julius Caesar. Et tu, Brute. Caesar is a good example because he's been dead long enough that his breath has had a chance to be scattered around the world. And every time you inhale, you typically breathe in about one molecule from Caesar's final words. For that matter, you're currently sharing breath with just about anyone who lives near you or has been dead more than 100 years. The point is that your molecules aren't really yours. No matter how you'd like to think of them, every year about 98% of your atoms are replaced with others exactly like them. The comedian Stephen Wright once joked, "I woke up one morning and all of my stuff had been stolen and replaced by exact duplicates." I know, it's mostly in the delivery. It's funny because it's true. Identical atoms more than just guarantee that you can find a replacement carbon if you need one. This is going to form the basis for fundamental symmetry in the universe. Particle replacement symmetry. All of the measurable quantities in a system will remain unchanged if you swap two particles of identical type and state. Particle replacement symmetry is a surprisingly important and very real symmetry of the universe. It provides the basis of teleportation, the ends of stars, and ultimately all of chemistry. That was a short episode. I almost want to add more to the end. Anyway, in the next episode, I will be reviewing the series, talking about what I liked, what I didn't, and what I want to do differently. I might be switching to an episode per launch with live commentary, so I don't have to jump cut the launches. That would also save me a little bit of time in making these. I could focus a little bit more on talking about the missions themselves and doing an overview of all of the stuff involved in the missions, maybe. I don't know. More of that in the next episode. I've been Grim, doing rocket science so you don't have to, and I think I should really find a better way to end these.